Over at Marvel Comics, it can be a little bit daunting to check in on one of your favorite superheroes only to realize that they've been published across countless ongoing series for years over at the House of Ideas. But Marvel had a really fascinating way to go ahead and rectify this by introducing the Ultimate line of comics in the early 2000s. I had a fantastic time checking out titles like Ultimate Spider Man as well as the Ultimates from Marvel Comics. Subsequently, the House of Ideas decided to go ahead and shut down this continuity, but there's still some fascinating elements that linger, like Miles Morales and the Maker. Over in recent years, the Maker has become aware that he's not of this world. My name is Arako Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and celebrate the return of the Ultimate line of titles with Ultimate Invasion #1 coming in from Marvel Comics. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button if you enjoy this video. And I want to go ahead and introduce Ultimate Invasion Issue 1 with Marvel Comics solicitation text for the issue. The transformation of the Marvel Universe begins. Superstar creators Jonathan Hickman and Bryan Hitch team up. The Illuminati must form once again to stop the Maker from his plans to destroy or perhaps rebuild the universe, with Miles Morales at the center of it all. Bryan Hitch's work on the Ultimates helped redefine superhero comics for the 2000s. Wait until you see what he and Jonathan have in store for this decade, including new data pages by Jonathan Hickman, plus exclusive behind the scenes material on the world building that has gone into this project. Want to go ahead and introduce our creative team on Ultimate Invasion #1. This issue is written by Jonathan Hickman, featuring pencils from Bryan Hitch, inks from Andrew Currie, and colors from Alex Sinclair, as well as letters from VC's Joe Caramagna. The cover for the issue is also illustrated from Bryan Hitch and Alex Sinclair. Here's a look over at the cover for Ultimate Invasion Issue 1, featuring some of those elements that we talked about up front, like Miles Morales and the Maker, as well as kind of several key characters from the Illuminati lingering in the background as well. Of course, I want to extend a quick thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of the issue. And I want to go ahead and kick things off here by kind of zooming in on some of Bryan Hitch's artwork for the series. I really enjoyed this sequence that we have up on the screen right now because it really kind of shows what this art team is made of in kind of expressing Jonathan Hickman's vision for Ultimate Invasion. Because I definitely think that Jonathan Hickman has a really negative and sinister voice for this character of the Maker, this alternate Ultimate Comics version of Reed Richards in the Marvel Universe that has sort of had everything kind of snatched away from him. Watching some of his tense conversations over with Miles Morales is just absolutely kind of fascinating in this issue, watching him sort of express the kind of concept and idea that maybe they can return to the Ultimate Universe, and watching him kind of express that idea to Miles is just so interesting. And I definitely think that Hitch manages to really capture the kind of bizarre nature of this scene. Also, the kind of colorist of the issue, Alex Sinclair, kind of drapes the hue of this sequence in some blues that also really capture kind of the sinister nature that I think Hickman is trying to establish over in this sequence. Now, one part I really enjoy about what Bryan Hitch brings to, this story as a whole is the fact that Miles Morales is kind of restlessly lingering around some of these pages, getting on the ceiling at one point. But we have the Maker kind of standing so stoic and really not reacting to him, allowing him to show that despite the fact that, Miles is bouncing up and down, the Maker is in full control of this scene over in the issue. I also love the kind of visual aspects of the introduction of this series too. The way that this issue kind of doesn't hold your hand and allows you, the reader, to kind of fill in the gaps and try and uncover what's happening next is absolutely thrilling here. I've definitely seen some Jonathan Hickman comics where it's been kind of near impossible to pick up on all of like the nuance and subtext over in the issue. I'm really happy to say that this is not one of those kind of scripts over from Jonathan Hickman. And if you've done your research on where kind of Miles Morales and the Maker left off, you should be good to go ahead and check out this series. Some of the kind of visual indication from this opening chapter, especially when we kind of first are introduced to the Maker in this series, is just absolutely enthralling. I think some of the attention to detail that Bryan Hitch lends to the anatomy really helps kind of carry an issue like this that's all about like talking head sequences in really subtle, really slow movement. Helps this issue immensely too. And I also just think that the kind of widescreen nature and the really obtuse opening for this tale will definitely capture the imagination of readers, wondering why the return of the kind of ultimate universe is even interesting to begin with. I definitely think that Jonathan Hickman is able to kind of capture so many elements of that just through his kind of depiction of the Maker, Reed Richards, as well. Now, one additional really kind of fun sequence in this story is kind of watching the lead up to this sequence we have up on the screen here with the Maker kind of finally showing himself and trying to get to the kind of ultimate universe and kind of redo the world. And watching him sort of get to this point in the series is fascinating. He takes on a couple of kind of diversions, and also he makes sure to get all of these sort of artifacts in the Marvel universe as well. This issue definitely is kind of the inciting incident, setting up what the kind of subsequent issues of the story are going to realize. Also, I think kind of one really important part about this book is the fact that it's really kind of gathering up all the plot threads from so many Marvel comics. Like one instance as well is we learned about some of the Maker's plans in Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Venom series. There were some elements of this that were kind of set up over in the pages of Jonathan Hickman's dual Avengers books with Avengers and New Avengers. And there's also plot threads that are still leading all the way back to Jonathan Hickman's wonderful Fantastic Four run featuring this gate that's still alive over from those pages. So honestly, I love it when characters use all these different comic books to create a sort of meta narrative. And I think that Jonathan Hickman in a lot of his projects does that. But the way that this issue brings together so many different books is so interesting here. One other really great part about this sequence, which I can attribute to both Bryan Hitch as well as Jonathan Hickman, are all of the different ways that this issue in and of itself kind of reintroduces Reed Richards as the Maker, and just all of these different scenes here. The Maker is such a kind of compelling villain, but it really helps that Hickman and Hitch find really interesting kind of scenarios and ways to recontextualize and show off this character to kind of keep readers interested. The aspect that I'm really referring to is the kind of final couple pages closing out the issue, remixing a key piece of Marvel continuity that's recontextualized here in just a super fascinating way. So at the end of the day, I am extremely happy with Ultimate Invasion #1 coming in from Marvel Comics. I think this series did such a great job building up the tension with the Maker and reintroducing so many Marvel ideas, as well as the kind of Ultimate Universe with Miles Morales. I think this book does such a great job kind of taking and gathering all the plot threads from so many Jonathan Hickman and Marvel Comics titles to really deliver something that's following up not just on some elements of Secret Wars and Avengers, but also following up on the idea of the kind of Ultimate Universe and taking aspects of characters like Miles Morales as well. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts on Marvel Comics' debut of Ultimate Invasion Issue 1? Did you enjoy this series as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our video review over on Ultimate Invasion Issue 1. We will be back to cover everything in the Marvel Universe related to the Ultimates, as well as explore future issues of this series and what the kind of next plans are for the Maker, Reed Richards, in the 616 universe. Well, thank you so much for coming to check out our video, and we'll be back really soon for more excellent comic book content. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.